Good morning, everybody. This morning, I am going to talk to you about the power of knowledge. And for those of you in years 8 and up, you'll remember that I spoke to you last year about the power of knowledge. So some of the things that you're seeing today are going to be familiar, but that's kind of part of the point. Knowledge is something that needs to be built upon. So today you're going to need a pen and paper, and tutors, you're going to need to be prepared to pause this video when I say so, because there's going to be moments of reflection and moments when students are going to need to do some tasks. So I'll start with the picture on the screen now. I showed this to you last year as a way of symbolizing what it might mean if you don't have knowledge. But why is what you know and how much you know so important? Why is it? So have a think about that. Why is what you know and how much you know so important? Last year, I talked to you about one of my favourite stories, Animal Farm by George Orwell. And what I'd like for you to do in a second is your tutor is going to pause the video and you're going to have a discussion. And I'd like to see if you can remember, last year I told you what an allegory is. Who knows what an allegory is? Who can remember what an allegory is? Because Animal Farm is an allegory. And in the story, Animal Farm, why is knowledge important? Do you remember why knowledge is such an important feature in the story? What happens? So, tutors, I'd like you to pause the video now and have that discussion. Welcome back. So hopefully someone remembered that Animal Farm is about a group of animals who get fed up with the oppression that they experience at the hands of the human that runs the farm, and the animals take over. But over time, the pigs seize control. And because they're the ones that can read and that they can write, they manipulate the other animals. And before they know it, the other animals are experiencing great hardships while the pigs enjoy greater and greater luxuries. And it's because they're ignorant. They don't know enough. The pigs are the ones with the knowledge. So the pigs are the ones that enjoy the better life. And the pigs are the ones that are able to manipulate those that just don't know enough. And last year as well, I referred to the quotation from Socrates, the Greek philosopher, that there is only one good, knowledge, and only one evil, ignorance. So that seems like quite a far-fetched idea, doesn't it? How can ignorance be evil? What is evil about ignorance? So again, tutors, I would like you to pause the video and talk to your tutor groups about this quotation. What examples perhaps of ignorance have you seen around you? What could you refer to? And how do we see ignorance perhaps in history playing out as evil? Have that discussion, please. Welcome back. Now, I was thinking about this myself. Just in the last year, 2020 to 2021, we've seen examples of ignorance played out on our TV screens, haven't we, during the lockdown period over the last year? We've had the people that think that COVID is a lie. Those thousands of people that are dying have died in hospital. They've not had COVID. It's a cover-up. It's something the government has made up for whatever reason. But that's an example of ignorance, isn't it? And people have protested outside hospitals about COVID. We've had in America the Trump supporters who have believed Trump's narrative that he's in some way stolen the election, that actually Donald Trump won the election and it was voter fraud. And Joe Biden has in some way defrauded the American people. And people have believed him through ignorance. And then, of course, we've had the Black Lives Matter movement, where in many cases we've seen opposition to it. People claiming it's not Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, and of course, completely missing the point. And we've seen far-right extremists clashing with police. Again, another example of ignorance. And only, 60, 70 years ago, of course, We had ignorance played out with us in the form of the Second World War, when Hitler was able to play on the ignorance of the German people, working people who didn't know a great deal, and he managed to convince them, didn't he, that the Jewish people were responsible for the economic difficulties in Germany. And he was able to play on people's ignorance, much like the pigs did in Animal Farm. So knowledge is power. And if we were together today in the hall, like I would much prefer to be, then I would be probably getting you to chant this out. Knowledge is power. Knowledge makes you more interesting. Knowledge allows you to talk about more things to people. But importantly, it safeguards you from being easily manipulated. It gives you the knowledge, it gives you the power, it gives you the strength to be the person in the know. And I love this quote from Dr. Seuss, making a link to English. The more that you read, the more things you know, the more that you learn, the more places you'll go. And what a lovely way of putting it. The more you know, the more you learn, the more places you'll go. And in terms of being in school now, how do we help you to become more knowledgeable? How do we help you to be more knowledgeable? Well, of course, I'm sure you're thinking already what I'm going to show you. You've got the knowledge organisers. Now, of course, you've not had these for some time now, but you're going to get your knowledge organiser on the 8th of March when you rejoin us at school. And in the knowledge organiser, your teachers have outlined the most important knowledge for their subject every term. And they use it for your do now activities, and all the information that's covered in the knowledge organiser is in your lessons, but they've boiled it down to the most important stuff. So it's a really powerful tool for you to use. And if each term you can ensure you know what is in that knowledge organiser, then you're going to be in a really, really good position. But those people that leave those knowledge organisers just at the bottom of their bag, getting crumpled up, you're not learning it, you're not knowing it. And each term that goes by where you've got another knowledge organiser sat at the bottom of your bag, crumpled up, ripped, and not in your brain, then you are someone who is not embracing the power and the importance of knowledge. You'll remember last year that I spoke to you about a load of strategies that we can use to learn better. And your teachers know about these strategies. There's 6 of them. Today, I want to focus on one particular strategy, and that's what we call retrieval practice. And we're going to have a go at this in a minute. Retrieval practice is where you put away your, you look at your class materials, you look at your notes, you look at your knowledge organiser, then you try and remember as much as you can, you write it down and check it against the knowledge organiser. Now, this is a bit of a primary school kind of image, but I think it nicely shows you what you need to do. So look, say, cover, write, check. Look at the knowledge organiser, look at the information, say it to yourself, cover it up or hide it, write it down, and then check it. So here's what we're going to do now. I have got a page from each year group's knowledge organiser on the next few slides. Okay. Your tutor is going to pause the video on your slide. Okay, so they need to pause it when it's your year group slide. Okay, your tutor's then going to give you a couple of minutes to learn, to look at, and to cover the information that is in the red box. Okay, there's a red box around what I want you to learn. Generally, it's keywords. Okay, they're going to give you a couple of minutes, and then they're going to ask you questions without showing you the slide again. They're going to ask you questions and they're going to see who has remembered it. Okay, so this is look, say, cover, write, check. Okay, tutors, you need to pause the video on the slide that is for your tutor group. Give them some time and then ask them some questions and see who's got it right. And then return to the PowerPoint. Okay. So welcome back. Hopefully that has helped you to understand how to use the knowledge organizer. You should be using it to look, cover and write check. And the final technique, I'm not going to look at all 6 today, is the technique of interleaving. Now, I'm not going to have time today to show you what this is, but I think you'll understand. Interleaving is about swapping between topics, okay? So you might do a bit of maths, then you go back to your English, then you go to your science, and then you come back to the maths again. Because what you're making your brain do is to become really, really supple, really flexible, and it can move between things. If you learn things in blocks, you're not teaching your brain to be able to move fluidly between different ideas. Okay, and that's why in your do now activities, sometimes your teachers ask you for knowledge from previous terms, is what they should be doing in their do nows. Okay, so knowledge is power, everyone. If I could get you to chant it, I would. Use those knowledge organizers, know those knowledge organizers, and use interleaving and use retrieval practice to help. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend when it comes, and I look forward to seeing you all back in school on the 8th.